to a very special Christmas episode of Loud About Nothing. It's me, the jolliest dude in the podcast game, Sebastian Conelli. And as always, Santa has his little helper and mine is here right beside me. The cutest elf I've ever seen, Robbie boy. Robbie, say hello to
What's
beautiful
going
people.
on? Merry Christmas, everyone.
This is Christmas.
It's Christmas Day.
I hope you just finished opening all your gifts and now you're here with
Yeah.
the beautiful boys to hang out, to enjoy a very, very, very special Christmas episode. And we have Father of Christmas of all. Father of Christmas of all.
Christmas of all.
Christmas of all.
You asked how I wanted to be introduced. That was not part of it, but I like it. Father of Christmas.
Of all.
Father of Christmas of all. You know him for being George Lucas on the George Lucas Talk Show. You know him from Dead Eyes. And you know him from being a father of Christmas. Give it up for Connor Ratliff.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. This is so
Happy
beautiful.
Holidays.
Happy holidays. This is beautiful. All right, now I'm going to talk normal. Welcome, Connor. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm so happy that you're here. We had a beautiful day together.
Very funny day.
And I'm so happy that you're here. Nobody loves Christmas more than you, Connor.
There are probably people who love it as much,
That's kind of you.
but I'm competitive. I'm up there with the people who enjoy it the most.
So you and I used to have a feud about Christmas.
Did we? I don't remember.
Wow, that hurts.
No, because I don't remember fighting with you about something.
There was one thing that we didn't agree about. When Christmas starts.
Oh yeah, November 1st, 6 a.m.
Yep, November 1st, 6 a.m. Connor is. And I've changed and now I'm on your team.
Because since we had this disagreement, the world shut down.
Yes!
It got sad.
And-
We could use the extra boost.
and
in
then
November.
an extra little month of celebrating. Yeah, I always feel like I like when Halloween starts a little early.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I see Halloween stuff popping up in September, even though I know October is. Anytime in October, Halloween is fine. Like we all
Beautiful.
sort of agree. October 1st, if you see a jack-o'-lantern, you're like, happy Halloween.
Great.
Right?
Yes.
September is a little early.
Yeah.
But because there's something a little naughty about Halloween, you always sort of feel like, oh, look at you, Halloween sneaking into September.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
And
Also, what does September have? They put out pencils. That's the decoration of September.
there's
Back to
books,
school, I guess.
Labor Day,
Yeah.
there's back to school, there's 9/11. Like, there's not a lot of fun.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot.
Never do that.
I
forgot.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I've been warned about this.
Yeah.
And I did exactly what
The
they...
only holiday slogan that is specifically about not forgetting.
I know.
That's the whole thing. Do not do that.
Yeah, I forgot. Thank you.
So a little bit of sneaky Halloween in September doesn't mind. And Tim Burton really did a great job of solidifying the end of year holiday spree,
Yes.
because you can start watching Nightmare Before Christmas way earlier than any other Christmas thing,
Yeah.
because it's a Halloween thing. If it feels a little weird to wait till November to watch The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Interesting. Yeah, I say it's the November 1st, All Saints Day might be the perfect day to watch that movie. It's
Yeah.
the bridge.
Yeah, because it takes place where it opens and
Yep.
Halloween is kind of the ending.
Yeah.
And but no one would object to watching Nightmare Before Christmas as a pre-Halloween movie.
No one.
I think it would be a weird objection.
100. Yeah, I totally agree.
But then for me, and I should stipulate before we get into this, I
Okay.
celebrate secular Christmas. I don't object to the religious part of it. It's just not for me.
Do you like religious songs?
Sure, they're fine.
They're
Some of them are great. Fall on your knees. Yeah.
Yeah. You like that line particularly?
That's a very majestic song.
Yeah. For here the angels' voices.
It's a crazy song.
And
All night.
I love the dramatic nature of those songs.
I do too. I like sometimes when they get very like Adeste Fideles.
Oh, when they start talking Latin.
Yeah. Leti triumphante or whatever they're saying.
Yeah.
I don't mind the majesty of some of that in the same way that I am impressed by a lot of architecture that is religiously ordained or inspired or whatever.
You're not going to Notre Dame and go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I like
What's
it,
this?
but I'm also
Yeah.
I don't approve of the organization.
Yeah. Have you been to Vatican City?
I haven't.
It's horrible.
Really? It's bad?
Wait, you think so?
I hated it.
Why?
What about
Crowded?
It was so crowded.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I mean, it's a tourist.
It was so crowded. I couldn't do anything. I was trying to look at this beautiful artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just being yelled, shh, shh, be quiet. This is a holy sanctuary. Be quiet. I'm like, I can't even enjoy myself.
I have a weird thing, and I just realized I've never said this out loud, but it happens every time. Whenever people say Vatican City, I immediately in my head start playing David Bowie's Suffragette City and replacing the word suffragette with Vatican.
I don't know. Can you give me
Yeah,
a
the
little
one, oh, lean on me, man, because you can't afford the ticket. Hey, in Suffragette City.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then you say Vatican
But
City.
I always stick Vatican in, and I always imagine that playing. I don't think they would play that if you went there,
No, they wouldn't.
because it's just something I invented in my head.
So you know that they knocked down they knocked off all the penises on the statues.
Who's they? Is
Pope.
this like a QAnon thing?
No. Welcome to the QAnon podcast. Happy Merry Christmas.
So you gestured like as if there was a little hammer.
This is me and my aunt. We were all joking around.
Yeah.
And my uncle, they are art historians, and we were all joking around about how they removed it, right? And then about the job of the person that if they want to like make the statues whole again, because there is a drawer in Vatican City filled with stone penises. To just go around with all these penises and trying to match them to the statue would be an amazing art internship.
So there is a drawer with who's the they who knocked off all the penises?
I forget the Pope's name, but it was a Pope.
It was a Pope who did it?
Yes, the Pope said it was crude. The art was crude, so let's get rid of it. So
This is how I didn't watch either Old Pope or New Pope. I think they didn't watch. This didn't happen in either of those shows. I imagine.
No.
This is the best Pope story I've ever heard.
Really?
Because I like to imagine that there's an element of showmanship.
Yeah.
Like if the Pope had a little hammer, and maybe he did it like he announced to like the staff, like everyone come upstairs.
Like a ribbon cutting ceremony, but
Yeah.
for a penis.
And I like imagining him doing it to the tune of Carol of the Bells. You know, the one that goes, ring, ring the bell, bang, ring, ring, ding, 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 ding. Just imagine-
Dong, dong.
Yeah.
Just yelling dong as he's.
What a dumb thing to do.
I know.
What a dumb pope that
And
was.
then
Which
also-
pope was it?
I don't know. I got to look that
The
up.
dumbest pope.
And then to save
I
that-
have a project.
That was your Pope voice?
Yeah, I have a project.
Well, what's your project?
Oh, it's really good. Do we have any little hammers?
Why do you need hammers?
Well, you know the naked men statues?
Do you mean the art?
Oh, yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you can see they don't have pants. You see everything.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna break off all the pieces, put them in a drawer.
This guy, that's straight up like serial killer stuff. That's
Yep.
like insane that was his idea.
Yeah.
All right, open the drawer.
It sounds like he just wanted a
Open
lot
the
of
drawer.
penises.
What's up?
It kind of sounds like he wanted a lot of penises.
Interesting, Robbie. That's your take from that?
Well,
Kind of.
like
He
a
kept
serial-
them. He didn't
a
throw them
serial-
out.
Oh, it's a souvenir.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a token.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
What a dumb guy that must have been. Imagine talking to that guy about anything else.
You think people
Idiots.
knew when he was
Yeah.
on the rise? They're like, he's next in succession. It's going to
They're
be
like,
some
not-
weird years
Not
coming
Joey.
Not
Yeah. Oh, no.
Joey. When he goes in the shower, goes, "Oh no, I hate this."
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like to keep Christ out of Christmas too in some ways.
Yeah,
'Cause-
I don't mind. It's just for me the biblical religious aspects of it are less interesting to me than the parts that are admittedly fictional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're more whimsical and fun.
Yeah.
The magic of Christ comes with a weight.
Yeah.
The magic of Santa has no weight to it.
Even just honestly, there are plenty of beautiful aspects to that story.
For sure.
But you're right. The weight is that like this is all a predetermined kind of a ends badly.
Yeah.
But the thing that bothers me is there's the thing of King Herod killing a bunch of kids because he's like, I hear one of these is the Messiah.
Yeah.
So he kills a bunch of kids.
Mhm.
And I was always like, that just puts a damper on that whole aspect of the holiday.
Oh yeah. So on Christmas, that means kids were being killed.
or soon after. Like there were. To me, it's one of those things that's like, like if the Santa Claus story doesn't also involve, well, sometimes when Santa comes down the chimney, there's a kid there and he'll land on them and that kid will die.
Never.
There's not, even if that happened one time, you kind of be like, I don't like Santa Claus. It's a bad story. It bums me out to hear it. And the baby Jesus story, it just has like stuff attached to it that's not as fun. And what I like about Christmas is I like what's fun about it, and I also like what's sad about it.
Okay, so what's sad about Christmas?
I read a quote recently from Sufjan Stevens.
Okay.
And he celebrates, like he was speaking specifically of the religious aspect of it.
Great.
He was talking about how Christmas is about death because ultimately it's like the end of the year, the passage of time. We think about like, oh, it's the end of another year.
Yeah.
And there is something about the way we take stock every year of like where we are compared to the previous year.
Yes.
And inevitably over time, maybe not every year, but a lot of times that will be, well, who have we lost?
Yeah.
Who's not here for this Christmas? And part of the joy of Christmas is who's still here.
Yes.
But even the joy of that is tinged with the notion that we won't all be here for every Christmas.
100%.
And there's something that's like melancholy about that is in the bones of a lot of like Christmas songs have like a there are
sad Christmas songs.
Yeah, like
I'll be home for Christmas inherently is like
Also, we don't that part of I'll be home for Christmas is we don't really believe that it's 100% that person will be home for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's written before Christmas.
Yeah, I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me.
Oof.
You know?
Oof. Connor, you're gutting me. Merry Christmas. Jesus.
But it's sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
I think the most beautiful, and this is not a hot take at all. A lot of people think this, but I think the most beautiful Christmas song for me is, well, I have two that I really like the most. Neither of them is an unconventional choice.
Cool.
But I like Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Tremendous.
And I don't mind, there's the original, like, Meet Me in St. Louis version. That has the we'll have to muddle through somehow.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to muddle through somehow.
And then there's an alternate lyric to that, which would have been the version I would have heard first.
Yeah.
Which is, hang a shining star upon the highest bough.
Yes.
A lot of people hate that replacement lyric. I think the first time I would have heard that would have been Bert and Ernie singing that on A Sesame Street Christmas. And even though it's like the more cheerful of the lyrics, there's still something sad in the melody of it that I think I kind of like the cheery lyric because that you can't take what's sad out of the music of that. Yeah. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough.
It's like the progression, the note progression is sad.
It's still sad. It doesn't sound like the way you break
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could sing to that melody that would make it kind of sad where it's like, let's go down and have a little soup now. It will be so good.
Yeah.
I've made soup for everyone in neighborhood. That made it sound like it was
like a Russian folk song. It sounded like
I had to drop a word that made it sound. I had to on the fly. I had to drop a word. Which made it sound like I was playing a character who had learned English. And
the song was sad for so many reasons that I was like, oh, this melody's sad. The soup, you gotta feed the whole. First off, you're feeding the whole town. What's going on in the town? That they have this poor man that can't speak making the soup for everyone. I make soup. Okay, let Tom make the soup.
I arrived there too late because I ran out of syllables. I've made soup for everyone in neighborhood. But
you're right.
The point being,
the point. We lost the point a little bit of that.
It's sad.
Yeah.
And I think it's beautiful. My other favorite Christmas song isn't. I don't even think it's technically a Christmas song. Is Sleigh Ride.
Oh, incredible.
I love. Were you in the band?
I was not in the band.
I was in the band, and that song was the ultimate percussion song.
Yeah.
Because whoever hit that,
yeah.
a moment.
Yeah.
It was people would freak out about to hit that thing.
I love that song. I like the Boston Pops instrumental version of that, which is that. And I also love it with the lyrics. The lyrics are really fun. I don't think there's mention of Christmas. It's just any time where you have winter and there could be a sleigh ride.
Yeah. But why can't we listen to that song after? If you play that song January 15th, people will be furious at you. They would
I don't know about furious. They'll just
you
be
kidding me?
confused. I think they'll be more confused than furious.
Who would be confused?
I mean, like,
wait, what day is this?
No, I think they'd be like, why is this guy playing Christmas music?
Just imagine if you owned a restaurant and on Valentine's Day you went. I
think it would be confusion more than anger.
No, I think it would be anger.
You think it'd be
Just
anger?
hear those sleigh bells ringing.
Jig too.
They're like,
Happy Valentine's Day.
Like, find the reference.
Yeah.
Where do we mention Christmas?
This is a winter song, not a Christmas song.
I have
It's
a
a snow
playlist.
song.
I have a playlist on Spotify that I listen to of songs that you can still play because I don't really like listening to Christmas music after like the 26th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because some people do the whole week.
I think it's fine, but it's a little bit weird. Like, part of the reason I like a big build up to Christmas is because once you get to Christmas Day is the worst of all the Christmas days.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, that's when we start ending Christmas.
Interesting. We do pajama day in my house. So
Well,
we do one extra day.
in England, Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, really builds out. They also have like really good stuff on TV for all the days of like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day.
Yeah.
They'll have like events, like a
Sure.
TV show will like have its series finale and it'll just be like a special event on Christmas.
Amazing.
And what I found is like you'll have like a radio station will stop playing Christmas music at like noon on the 25th.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it'll be like they've been playing Christmas music for months, and all of a sudden it'll be like 1 p.m. on Christmas, and they'll be back to like playing Steely Dan or something. You know?
Wow, that's crazy. You know what's funny? I was listening to Delilah 106.7 does it all year, and they go playing Christmas music all the way to December 25th. I was like,
Yeah,
isn't
of
that
course.
implied?
Yeah.
Isn't that implied that you're gonna play till? But I guess some places do stop.
Yeah. Well, I always thought there was something really sad about our. When I was growing up, the neighbors across the street would throw their Christmas tree out on Christmas Day.
Stop.
Oh, really?
And-
like after dinner?
Yeah, like after they'd have like an afternoon dinner and then be like, "We're
Ow.
done."
Wait, do they have kids?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a sad house.
Yeah, where it's like, yeah, but it's also like,
All right, back homework. Time to do the homework. Like, what are we
I
doing?
guess they're playing with the toys. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
making
playing with
room in the living room.
But play
yeah,
with the
making
hash.
room. Time to make room in the living room.
You can
Finally,
build this-
Yeah, there should be a song, making room in the living room on Christmas.
Awesome.
Just there are no songs that really celebrate the people who decide to really hard stop celebrating
Yeah.
Christmas on Christmas Day.
Christmas is over. The goose is no longer fat.
Yeah.
See, I should have cut a syllable like you, but I was scared.
Goose no longer fat.
Goose no fat.
So yeah, like I also think I'm a big believer in, well, I made a Christmas special a few years back called The Spirit of Ratliff. You can find it on YouTube.
Of course, everyone should check it out.
And it was a sequel to the Chris Gethard show. Two of the people who worked on that, Keith Haskell and Rob Malone, had made these. When we were doing the show on Public Access, they would always like sort of hijack Gethard and make him make a Christmas special on the week we were off from Public Access.
I love that.
And they would videotape them like doing weird stuff where they'd like go get a tree. Then when it became a real TV show, Gethard was less available and also less into like it was like move on to someone else in the show and do another, because it was Spirit of Gethard.
Yeah.
Then the first year that it was on a real like cable station, Rob and Keith were like, how about we do a Spirit of Ratliff one? And I said, well, what if I write songs for it and it'll have like a soundtrack, which you can, if you look on like Discogs or something, every now and then you can find a copy of the album. We made some like
Physical
vinyl
yes.
copies of it. But it's on Spotify, I think.
That's amazing. It is on Spotify.
Yeah.
I listened.
Yeah.
And one of the songs is about keeping the decorations up in January.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I have a real strong philosophy about that, which is once you get to, I think it's like January 6th or something. Like the 12 days of Christmas start on Christmas.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's not a countdown to Christmas.
No.
The idea is like on Christmas Day, you get the partridge in the pear tree.
Yes.
And on the 26th, you get 2 turtle doves and a partridge. And
Yes.
so on and so on. And it goes through,
It's Little Christmas.
what's the name? There's like the name for that. I'm blanking on. Like
yes, it's when the
the
three
Epiphany
saints
or whatever.
came
Is it the
to-
Epiphany?
I don't know the exact
whatever
name,
it
but
is.
I know what it is.
Something like that. But it's like January 6th or something. And that's the date when like you'll notice a lot of reasonable people all take their tree and decorations down.
And a lot of unreasonable people do other things.
Sure. And always will.
Always will.
But I'm a big believer that yes, at that point you shouldn't keep Santa Claus related stuff up.
January 6th.
Okay.
January 6th. I think January 7th. I'm not speaking for myself.
This is my family too. My dad, we would take the tree down January 6th, and my dad's, what's this? It seems we forgot one gift under the tree for all of us. And we get one little Christmas gift.
Oh, that's a really nice one.
And as we took down the tree, we would discover a gift, which my dad just put there. And it would be something that wasn't Christmassy at all. Usually it was like something to hang in the room or something to like remember, like get excited for the new year in some way.
I just now thought of an idea for because I'll finish this and then I just thought of a new idea that I think we can maybe catch on.
Okay,
love this.
amazing.
We like new ideas for the future too.
That's right. So I'm a big believer that anything that's a wintry decoration, like snowflakes or white lights, like not like the primary colors Christmas lights, but like anything that's snow or winter and not Christmas character related. Let's have a carve out for Frosty because Frosty's a snowman.
Yes.
Carve out for Frosty's wife, family. Snowman characters
Reindeer
can live.
They're
reindeer. They're Christmassy.
They're too Christmas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
too associated because Frosty don't work for Santa.
Frosty don't work for no one.
Yeah.
Frosty
don't
He's
work for
just
no one.
Here
He's
for a good time.
elusive.
Yeah.
But keep those up because otherwise it's too depressed. Maybe even put up more ones in January.
Yeah.
Because it's too depressing to go from you get the daylight savings time change, you get the weather change,
Yeah.
you get all these decorations, and all of a sudden you just yank away the one part that's maybe brightening the mood a little.
And you're just trying to eat healthy and go to the gym, and there's no decorations anymore, and you're just fucking sad.
Yeah. I think...
Yeah, January sucks. We have nothing to look forward to.
I've never seen... There's a movie starring Kevin Kline called The January Man.
Okay.
You heard of this?
No.
No.
I've never seen it. I like Kevin Kline movies.
Kevin Kline.
I believe this was a movie that he made.
Did he do In and Out?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I'm gonna look this up here and see what it's about.
The January
I think it was
Man.
after he won the Oscar for Fish Called Wanda.
And so this might
And
be...
forgive me if I'm about to invent an idea that someone else already has out there. Okay, so The January Man is a movie that came out in 1989, written by John Patrick Shanley, who wrote Moonstruck.
I love Moonstruck.
It's a thriller. It's a mystery. Disgraced ex-policeman Nick Starkey, Kevin Kline, is brought back to the force by his brother Frank, Harvey Keitel, to help find a serial killer loose in New York City. Now, maybe a bit grim for a holiday.
You had no idea what you were about to read, and then you realize, oh, that's too much.
But it's Kevin Kline when he's got the mustache, which I always think is a very fun variant of Kevin Kline characters when he's got the mustache.
Of course.
But I think if we celebrate the coming of the January Man,
Okay.
like
A cop coming back to the force. A disgraced cop going back to the
solve one last murder. January, support the police. Connor's original idea. Are you worried someone else thought of this idea first, Connor?
I'm worried someone. I'm worried.
January
I'm
Man.
worried there's some Back to Blue campaign out there that's like the January Man.
I'm worried this might catch, and then you'll be the man behind it all. You'll be the man.
January Man.
Yeah, the founder.
Yes. What's Connor know for? Dead Eyes. He founded the January Cop Month. This is your legacy that you're leaving behind, Connor.
I think here's the thing. I don't have the rights to the movie. I have no skin in the game as far as that. I just like the idea of let's reinvent the character. I like the idea of the January
Keep
Man.
the name. Keep the name.
Yeah,
And the actor.
let's treat it the way any Hollywood would treat IP, which is like strip away everything that the original material was about. But we like the name January Man,
And the mustache.
and we like the way Here, let me show you. I'm going to show you the poster for the January Man. You tell me. if you wouldn't like this January Man.
Tremendous.
Hold on. All right. You tell me.
Oh, he
Here it
looks
comes.
amazing.
It's the January Man.
But it is clearly a cop.
He's clearly holding a badge. But here's what I say.
It's clearly a cop.
Here's what I say.
What do you say? Defend yourself now.
We replace the badge with just a note that says, I'm the January Man.
I love it. I love it.
Or it
I
might
love it.
say, it's January.
It's January. Jan 1, you know?
Jan 1.
Yeah,
New
Or
calendar.
whatever day in January is. The January Man comes to visit, and he tells you what part of January you're currently in.
It's a
So,
calendar.
Yeah,
You're pitching a man, a cop
A
as a
personal
calendar.
assistant.
So a cop comes to my house every day and tells me what day it is. Open up, it's the police. January 3rd.
he's not a cop. He's not a cop anymore.
This
is
First of
how
all,
it sounds.
he's a disgrace.
He's disgraced. He's
He's a
gone.
disgraced cop. So he definitely did something wrong. This is good. This is good.
I say we remove the cop narrative from it. It's too divisive.
Okay.
He's just a January Man.
He's just his man in January.
Does he have a gun?
I like it.
no,
No.
No gun. Okay.
no gun.
Because he got to take it away.
No.
Okay.
Out of the story. Out of the
You know,
story.
I'm saying we removed all those narrative elements out of
Okay,
it.
okay,
like
good.
we don't remember the fact that the modern iteration of Santa Claus was based on the Coca-Cola design. We don't. That's not something that we. He's not a Coca-Cola man. He's Santa Claus.
That was based on Coca-Cola?
I think that's what I've always heard. Maybe
What
that's
about
wrong.
Norman Rockwell?
That was post Coke.
I guess I think Norman Rockwell's older than he is.
Well, he's dead now.
He's really old.
No, he stopped aging.
You don't continue birthdays after someone dies.
I continue birth dates.
Oh.
I don't say happy birthday. Walt Disney, it's his birthday. Would be 125 years old. You know, I wouldn't, but it's his birth date.
Okay.
So
But-
you go, Walt Disney, still 79.
Yeah, you stop the race when the person stops running.
Yeah. You the time is off.
You'll be like, it's still racing.
Interesting, because a lot of people do go, they would have been 140 today. Uh-oh.
Oh, we're doing
Connor's
it.
doing a Manhattan special.
First time.
So we should say
Yeah.
this. We did an activity.
Yeah, we went to do
go
an
on-
activity.
We go on the summer dates. the holiday dates.
Holiday
and
date.
not the
You're all
summer
over the place.
The opposite of a summer date. And we decided to go to Staten Island. And of course, when we were in Staten Island, I had to stop at a certain place to get a chicken cutlet sandwich. And Connor got a Manhattan special.
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
You don't like it? What don't you like about it?
I'm gonna try again, see if I understand it.
This is a taste test of Connor doing the
Like a
Manhattan,
Manhattan
special.
special.
I wonder whether because before we started recording, I opened this and it exploded.
Oh, so you lost some fizz?
I think I lost a lot of the fizz that would have made it fun.
You're a bubbles guy.
I'm a bubbles guy. To me, the whole reason for drinking a soda or a seltzer is to have a sharp bubble that hurts a little.
Yeah.
You want to hurt a little.
Yeah.
That's why there's certain brands of seltzer that I just think like, why even bother? Because
Name names.
Perrier,
Garbage.
I agree.
it's so weak. Those bubbles
Soft.
are so tiny, so soft.
Soft.
Even Pellegrino, the bubbles are a little
Pellegrino.
soft.
I think La Croix.
Uh-huh.
Too soft?
I think those bubbles are too soft.
I
Too
agree.
soft. What do you like? Polar?
Polar's good. I like
Polar?
Schweppes. I like Schweppes.
Schweppes is
Schweppes.
good.
Schweppes. I'm a
Schweppes.
I'm a Schweppesman.
I'll tell you this.
Schweppesman.
I'll tell you this. Vintage.
Vintage has
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good
yeah.
bubbles.
Vintage is hard bubbles.
Yeah.
No flavors either.
They do have flavors now.
Canada,
Oh, they do?
Canada Dry, pretty good.
Yeah, so the European brands are bad, basically.
They're
LaCroix,
softer.
LaCroix is. I thought they were West Coast.
Oh, they were?
Oh, I don't know.
They're trying to be something else.
Yeah.
With that name.
I don't drink coffee, so drinking a coffee soda,
Without the soda is just
it's just coffee.
yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, stop. Don't drink
Yeah.
it. So we
Oh,
went
wait,
to...
sorry, I'm in your
Yeah,
shot.
we'll move it.
I don't know. I'll
Move
just
it.
put it where it was.
Beautiful.
Are we still good over there, Robbie? Why don't
Yeah,
you
yeah,
check?
yeah.
Still
We're
good?
good. We're good.
We
We're
still good?
all good.
So we went to Staten Island and we saw the Polar Express.
We did.
We went to a movie party of the Polar Express.
At Alamo Draft House.
And
Yes.
I have to say this.
Wait, do we have the same number or are they numbered?
Yeah, no, it's Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 1225.
Yeah.
Wow. Puzzle man over here.
Ah, obviously.
Oh, January man.
Yeah. The January man putting the murders together. And I'll say this. I had a fucking blast.
Yeah, it was
I've
great.
never been to a movie party before, and it was one. We were the only adults there.
There were adults, but we were the only adults who didn't have children.
Yes.
There were a lot of chaperones, but it was we walked into the theater, and Sebastian had purchased the best seats in the house.
Of
Perfect
course.
middle
Of course.
middle row, just like middle row back, middle row,
Exclusive.
and
Practically roped off for the
you're,
king and the
you're
queen.
the father of Christmas of all.
You're the father of Christmas of all. What do you
We
expect?
need it.
and I joked at one point that when we were saying what do we think the other people think of us, I said I think they think we own the theater. We're just businessmen coming to check on our investment.
Yeah.
The row behind us was just children.
In pajamas. All these children were in pajamas.
Yeah. And it was really like the event was targeted towards children.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. There's a lot of I have a lot of childlike spirit in me.
Mm-hmm.
I like when someone says to do something like this, I don't take it ironically.
Right. Yeah.
I'm on board to act like a child for a little bit.
And I think we were a good presence in that audience because the thing with the movie party is they want people to participate a little.
Yes.
And we sort of gave, I think, the kids permission to be a little louder.
Yeah.
To be a little bit more
I
boisterous.
agree.
Because now the funny thing is, you have your bell?
I don't.
You
I
have
have
your
my
bell.
bell.
I can't find where my bell is. We all got bells. And one of the main plot points of Polar Express is he loses his bell.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't find the bell.
And he was wearing it on his glasses.
Yeah, I had it in a way that I thought I couldn't lose it.
It was good.
Here are the props we had. So
Yes.
we had jingle bells, ring yours anytime we hear Santa's sleigh, and during any song we sing. It's a musical film.
A lot of bell ringing.
A lot of bell ringing.
Yes.
And sometimes songs that they're not like a bell song.
No,
Some
no.
songs, it's sometimes
Some
the bell
orchestras.
ringing sounded
Yeah.
like when they protest in Parliament.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, we don't like this song. This
Yeah.
is too sad.
sometimes the bell ringing felt like booing.
Yeah.
Santa hat, which we're all wearing our
Yes.
Alamo draft. Oh, you got a different one.
I have my Staten Island one on. But
Alamo-
they gave out Alamo Draft House.
Santa hats. Great for looking the part of the North Pole and for throwing in the air with the elves. So they told us when we went into the theater, there's a man with an employee who had a cart covered in hats. And he said, put this on once you get to the North Pole.
Uh-huh.
And so basically there's a scene where they end up getting to the North Pole and everybody in the audience puts their hat on. A lot of those kids just were wearing the hats, though.
I was pissed about that. I'll tell you this. There's no parents telling them that don't put the hat on yet.
And I think they could have said it in the theater. They could have said, kids, everyone take your hat off. We're not at the North Pole yet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, let's play along properly. I don't care how young they are.
We did identify one part early in the movie where the hobo ghost who sits atop the train imitates Santa, and he takes a Santa hat out of his coat and puts on and starts imitating Santa. And that would have been a moment if I was running a screening with interactive hats. I would have said, get ready for when the man on top of the train imitates Santa. Put your hat on and everyone imitating Santa.
Oh, and then because he imitated Santa for so long at that part.
Yeah.
The next thing was what? Train ticket.
Train ticket.
Everyone needs a ticket to ride this train. Wave it in the air whenever there's a ticket flying around and take it home as a special souvenir.
Honestly, great. It's like almost an exact replica.
I'm going to keep this. For
Yeah,
sure.
they did a good job.
Yeah,
They did a great job. The ticket flying around is at least 10 solid minutes of the movie. Like, collectively, there's a lot of ticket
The
blowing
ticket
around.
goes through its own adventure. The ticket literally flies out the cart, gets kicked around by wolves. A bald eagle takes it in his mouth, spits it in a baby bird's mouth, spews it down, becomes into a giant snowball, flies in the air, and goes in the engine room.
Have you ever read the book, The Polar Express?
No.
It's a very gentle and it's a very gentle book with not a lot of action.
So what's the story of the Polar Express?
Polar Express is basically take out every single action sequence from the movie.
Yes.
It's basically like this kid has doubt.
Yeah.
A train pulls up at night. He gets on the train. There's a brief reference to like that they had hot chocolate refreshments on the train.
Sure.
Which in the movie becomes the most insane 2 minutes in the history of cinema. Like
Out of
literally
nowhere.
But it's like they were looking at the book and they're like, they get hot chocolate. You know what we could do? We're gonna have them coming like, ooh, we got it. Oh, they got it.
Truly an amazingly catchy song.
It is. I own that song on a vinyl 7-inch single.
You do?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's
And
incredible.
do you play it
Yes.
when you drink hot chocolate?
I haven't done it as an event. I've just put it on.
You got to play it.
Wait, but you watched the movie for the first time last year and then purchased the vinyl
Yeah, it's
soon
like
after?
a promo
Oh,
okay.
thing. It costs a little bit on eBay. We did order because Alamo Drafthouse has food, and this is sort of its own story within the
story within the story.
Story within the story because you were. And the thing is, if you'd been there when we first ordered, I think you would have gotten your meal.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes.
Because basically what happened was, Robbie said, "Oh, they have bottomless popcorn here." The problem with bottomless is that bottomless involves having to continually call the staff in to fill it up.
yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
It's not like at Applebee's where there's someone constantly coming by and refilling your
Sure.
thing.
No.
You got to flag them down and say, "Can I have another?"
You really have to flag these people down at the draft house.
Yeah, at least based on our experience today.
Yes.
I'll tell you this, Adela.
They were all very, very nice.
They were nice. I had issues.
Yeah. So Sebastian was in the bathroom, and so Robbie and I went ahead and ordered. And first Robbie's like, "They got the bottomless popcorn," but then we look at the menu, which is extensive, and I said, "I'm gonna get chicken tenders." You said, "I'm gonna get chicken tenders too." We order our chicken tenders, we order our soda, and then we tell them we'd also like to order the hot chocolate, but we'd like to have it come out when they're singing the song.
Yeah. They knew. They knew.
And
They didn't know that well.
No, they didn't know that well, but they seemed to
seem to
know
imply,
at the time. Yeah.
they were like, "We can make that happen."
Yeah, yeah.
They did not make that happen.
No.
No.
And it's a lot. We were asking a lot.
Yes.
Because in my ideal version of it, if I worked at Alamo Drafthouse and they were doing the screening and people had ordered
Yeah,
hot
of
chocolate,
course.
I would have come in during that song being like,
With
"Ooh,
tons of hot
yeah,
chocolate.
they got
Yeah,
it."
yeah.
I would have been very
They should have done a dance with hot
Yeah.
chocolate on the stage in front of the.
I will say, in real life, I mean, in the movie, they're literally shooting hot chocolate in the air and it's landing in the cup.
Spewing that. Literally, they take their aprons off and they become tables.
Yeah.
It's total magic.
So we ordered our food, and then Sebastian ordered his a few minutes later.
The same exact thing.
Same
Yes.
exact thing.
Same thing. I said,
But-
fuck it. We're all doing that.
But with a different server, and the server explained, "I'm not your server, but I will make sure that your order goes through." And then it never went through.
I
Wow.
was literally halfway through the movie, I'm so thirsty and I'm ringing my bell and the woman comes over. I go to her, I ordered chicken fingers and a soda. Can I at least get the soda?
You're bargaining.
I know. And then they finally bring me the fucking soda. And then what happened with the chicken fingers? What did I say to her exactly?
Oh, the last time I heard you interact with a server, you sounded as if you were saying something that was like the fourth line in a debate. Because you were like, I didn't even get the chicken fingers I ordered. It was as if you were answering someone with a tone of like, "You think that's bad?"
You know what it was?
Yeah.
We're in a movie. I think my logic was we're in a movie theater. I don't want to have the whole 3-word lines to get to where I need to get to let her know.
Which is like strong improv initiation. Like,
Yes.
let's just initiate with where the scene really starts.
Let's
Yes.
because we don't have time for small talk while watching a movie.
Yeah.
We don't have time for sorry about it. What's the matter? What'd you order? I'm sorry, a little bit. I got the chicken veggies.
You didn't get your soda until we got our bottomless refills.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were
I think we
drinking
got
soda.
our second round before you got round one.
And then
Yeah.
I was
It
furious.
Came all together. Yeah.
and then we got our hot chocolates, but long after the children in
Correct.
the film got their
Long
hot
after.
chocolates.
Which I was cool because it's nice to have the hot chocolate in the North Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
liked.
I'm sitting there the whole movie going, that
then
was
you
the
had hot
first thing I
chocolate
ate
first.
all day.
Then you're thinking,
the first thing I
I
ate all day
still
was
might get the chicken.
cookies and hot chocolate,
Yeah.
surrounded by children in pajamas,
Yeah.
just ringing a bell.
Da-da-da.
It was an interesting morning, to say the
It was
least.
fun.
Yeah.
I will say that I think and there is like the thing of making the movie experience, more like a restaurant, more like there is the thing.
Sure.
I don't know how much I like it for a movie like this.
I agree.
For a movie party, especially because part of the concept of the Alamo movie party is we've all seen this movie, or we're all coming to you're encouraged to sing along, you're encouraged to quote your favorite lines, you're encouraged to participate.
Yes.
So it's closer to the Rocky Horror Picture Experience, but for different, popular movies or cult movies. I don't know that I would want to. I don't think whenever I'm seeing a movie for the first time, I want to be in a movie theater that has servers.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm a big component. I don't want to. The food I should snack on, I shouldn't have to look at to eat.
Right. And
Should be grab and eat.
And I would say these chicken tenders, which were very good, were as messy as any like barbecue that I've ever had.
It was wild.
There was so much breading, like I was covered in breading by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And
Covered in bread, sitting there.
because it was like,
I know you had to eat it.
Yeah.
it was really hard to eat in the movie theater. And it was good,
Yeah.
but and the movie itself,
Hey, what'd you think about the movie, Connor?
well, it's interesting because I never watched Polar Express when it came out originally.
Sure.
And in part because I think it got very, very mixed and sometimes very hostile reviews. And that would have also been during the time frame where it wasn't that long after my Band of Brothers experience. So, like, I would not have, if it had been a Toy Story Christmas movie that came out the same year, I would have definitely gone to see it because I would have been like, I want to see this because it looks like it's, part of this series. Like I was going to see movies like Castaway and
That
really
Tom
liking
Hanks
them
was
stuff.
like
Yeah.
in and great.
But there was also the aspect of this movie that got a reputation for the animation the characters having dead eyes.
Yeah. And
And it felt a little bit like it's ticking too many boxes that I don't need to go see this movie.
yeah.
And so I only really saw it.
Pissed you off.
Didn't piss me off, but it just didn't. I wasn't inclined to go see it in the theater. And there's already enough Christmas stuff that I'm watching or rewatching
Sure.
that it didn't feel essential to me. And it wasn't until I was doing the podcast where I sort of felt like I need to see like the gaps in the few movies of his that I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
Because I was also mining the podcast for like connections.
Oh, okay.
And it felt important for me to see it because people were also saying, as soon as I started doing the Dead Eyes podcast, people were like, you need to talk about Polar Express
Sure.
because that's got Dead Eyes.
Yeah.
And so by the time I saw it, I was already having fun doing the podcast and I was able to really enjoy the movie. The movie's very strange.
Very strange. Also, Tom Hanks plays multiple characters, and no offense to Tom Hanks, very recognizable voice. So
Yes.
it just felt like Tom Hanks just in different animation. He didn't switch it up that much.
Well, there's the character. Well, how many characters do you think he played?
He played the conductor. He played the father. He played Santa Claus. He played the mystical man on top.
Mm-hmm. He's also
the
the
narrator.
puppet, the evil puppet.
Oh, the evil puppets.
He also played the little boy. He didn't do the voice of the little boy, but he acted out. So like
No way.
there's like footage. If you look at behind the scenes footage, he acted all those scenes and they filmed him. So the performance is really a hybrid of like he did all those scenes where he's like looking he's wearing the robe and like looking for and he's like.
That's a little selfish. She's taking hours away from a child actor.
Well, you can't work that many hours with a child actor. It's actually making it easier to comply with the
rights.
labor
You're
law.
right.
Yeah.
You actually are right. I'm so sorry. Wow.
There you go.
Wow. I knew that body looked like a grown man body, but small.
There were a couple of moves that I've seen the footage of him doing it, and I can't unsee it. So like, there's a point where the little boy like moves, and he's like this. I've seen the behind the scenes footage of him doing that move.
Yeah,
and it's impossible for me not to see. It's like, oh, that's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But now, especially after having had such a positive experience interviewing him on my podcast, seeing that in the theater is a really fun and funny experience.
Yeah, I didn't mind the animation that much.
No, me neither.
I
I was
didn't mind it at
actually
all.
thinking, did they like remaster it? Because
I don't
I
think
thought it
so.
looked. I'll also say I feel like it was more of a ride than a movie.
Yes,
It
there was so many
feels
roller
like-
coaster
It
sequences.
feels like you're on a ride.
I love a roller coaster point of view shot in a movie.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I feel like, the one thing that I think 3D, I mean, we didn't see this in 3D,
No.
but the one thing that 3D does well is like heights. That's one thing where I'm like, oh, you really feel it. But you also feel that when you're just watching heights in 2D.
yes.
Yeah.
That it's just naturally thrilling to be watching from the point of view of a roller coaster going off a cliff.
I saw Man on Wire 3D.
Yeah.
It was an IMAX 3D.
Yeah, me too.
It was literally the one on Lincoln Square.
Yeah.
And did you notice on the grounds, on the carpet, they put a wire and the what it was the point of view looking down, and as you walk to the IMAX, you could walk on the wire to the theater.
Whoa.
It was actually really cool. I got
Oh,
scared.
right. Yeah, out in the thing. Yeah, they had
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone afterwards was walking his walk. It was really
Yeah.
that freaks me out. I get so nervous.
Yeah, heights are bad.
Do you get nervous on bridges or do you get nervous?
Yeah, I don't want to fall down.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I fall down so often.
Yeah.
I can't.
Even just from just walking.
Oh my God. I did that VR where you stand on a beam and you have to walk with VR and then jump off the lip at the edge. I took the VR. I said, I don't need this.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, it's a game. I go, I don't care. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Why do I have to jump off a building in fucking VR?
Because if it's really vivid, you'll remember it and you might think about it later.
I don't even like
You might dream about it.
I don't even like when I'm going down the steps and I think there's another step and there isn't.
One of the worst feelings possible. And then your knee goes,
Yeah.
oh! And your knee does something that's never done before.
Yeah.
I hate that. I count steps.
Yeah.
I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Or another one that's really bad is when you think you've reached the bottom of the step and there's one more step.
Oh,
so
that's
actually
even
do,
worse. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, babu.
Yeah, I don't. Did you fall? I fell down steps all the time as a child. One time was horrible. This is my fault for so many reasons. We went to Costco and I ate a hot dog and I threw the wrapper on the steps and I was playing with I put a blanket over my head pretending to be a ghost.
You fell on the wrapper that you
I
littered.
slipped on the littered wrapper down my steps. I littered and was being a ghost.
It's one of those things where when you look back at it, you're like, wow, it was a series of choices. You just didn't know how they were going to come together.
I know. I remember as soon as I fell down, my mom goes, that could have been your mumu. My grandma just yelling at me, that could have been my grandma. As I'm on the
Was
ground.
she suggesting that she could have been pretending to be a ghost?
My grandma was always being a ghost.
You took a role away from someone else who could have played it?
Yeah.
And now she is a ghost. Practicing.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yo, what the
That was also, yeah.
What was that line about?
Because he's a ghost.
Oh, I thought he was so he was dead the entire time.
I mean, every time that he needed to, he disappeared. So I assume he asked, "Do you believe in ghosts?" in a way that was very pointed. And you're like, "Why did he ask that?" I'm like, it's probably because he is a ghost, or maybe he doesn't believe in ghosts, meaning he doesn't believe in himself.
Wow, maybe he needs to believe. If you got a card, tickets, and at the end of the movie they spell out what you need to learn from the movie, right?
Yeah.
What each character needs to learn. What do you think your card would say? It doesn't have to be too heavy. I'll tell you what mine could say.
What?
Love yourself. I think I do a bad job at that, and I think that's the lesson I could learn from this Christmas. I think that's something that my card would say. See? Isn't it good when you take care of yourself and love yourself? I think that would be... Robbie, do you have one that you would think of?
I don't know. From that movie?
No, from your
From
life.
like my Christmas.
Either your life or the...
Yeah, if I'm from going
what's the
to...
lesson? Because everyone learned a lesson, even the idiot character, even the dumb character.
He learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah, what was his lesson?
Learn.
Learn.
Learn. The other one learned a lot of lessons.
I thought that was a bad lesson for the annoying character to learn.
I think he knows too much knowledge.
I know
He had too many facts. I think it should have just said humility.
Yeah. Silence.
Mine, I think, when he would punch it, because he goes, and it's got a message. I think mine should say, grow up.
Grow up. I can see that. Nah, fuck it.
No, but you know what's nice about Christmas? You don't need to grow up around Christmas.
I think that would be
Or you do.
Why? Not at Christmas time.
What better time to grow up?
I think New Year's. That's what Mr. January is for.
That's what the
January
January
man.
January
Maybe the January man.
Why would you
It's like,
why would you
get
say
up.
that's what Mr. January is for when we are trying to make this happen?
January man.
I'm trying to make an anti-cop movie. Mr. January works for the fire department.
Is Mr. January the January man but posing for like a nudie magazine?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Dude, I used to get magazines every year. I mean, calendars.
Right.
And I would get some. I remember when I was old enough, my parents would get me like the sexy calendars.
Mr. January is the January man in the calendar.
Yeah.
And also Kevin Kline plays Mr. Fish Odor on Bob's Burgers for people who don't. For younger people who are like, "Who's Kevin Kline?"
Yeah.
And they watch Bob's Burgers. I don't know.
What would your thing say, Robbie?
I don't know.
What do you
Robbie,
think?
you're gonna have to get to this. By the
I
end
mean,
of
all right,
the
I'll think
You
about
Do you
it.
want us to come back to you for that question?
I guess so.
You want us to come back
Well,
to
my
you?
Yours
ticket
just
would say
no stuff.
no stuff.
No stuff.
You're like, I don't know.
Oh, no. Maybe, yeah, no things. KNO.
KNO.
W.
Yeah,
Oh.
it just says no. Like because they get partial messages at first.
Yeah.
So your first one just says NO, and then at the end he goes puts the
K
K
and then the W. No. I think that would be actually good because I do say I don't know a lot. A lot of my answers are I don't know. No.
So
I think you do know.
Be
Robbie.
sure. Yeah, be more confident. Like, I think I have confidence inside of me. I don't necessarily portray it all the time. I'm like, I don't know this. I'm very like wishy-washy.
What are you
sometimes.
most confident about?
What am I
Yeah.
most confident about?
What are you most confident about, Robbie?
I guess maybe my ability to meet someone new. Like, I think I could have a positive interaction meeting someone new.
There we go. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing.
So you would have been good in this movie if you were one of the kids on that Polar Express, because you would have met the conductor, you would have met the other kids,
The other kids.
then you would have met Santa Claus and all the elves.
Yeah.
You would have met the guy on top of the the whole movie's
guy
about
on top.
It's about meeting new people.
the whole movie's about meeting new people.
all the elves up in the North Pole.
Yeah.
There was so many people you would have met. You would have crushed this.
Yeah, would have been, I guess so. Making someone new, feel, like part of the team. Like what they did with the kid,
Yeah.
the third kid.
So-
I feel confident in that. I
So
would say.
so NEW you're good at, but
NEW,
not
NEW, I'm good at.
Numerous.
No, yeah.
Interesting. What? So there was a storyline in the Polar Express about like just a poor kid. What was his deal?
They go to the wrong side of the tracks. Sorry, the fourth thing is the activity sheets and crayons. A little extra
Yes.
holiday cheer to keep the kids entertained. Kids of all ages, that is. So feel free to get on the fun. That's directed at us, kids of all ages.
Yes.
I think the employees were so happy we're there.
Yes.
I think so. They're
Um,
not happy. They definitely were not unhappy.
No.
No, yeah. Probably after I yelled at that one woman, they weren't that happy.
You were not rude.
I don't-
want to
yeah.
be clear. You
Think
weren't
so?
rude, or you seem more like in distress.
I was in distress. I was starving. I was starving watching everyone around me eat candy.
So we have a Polar Express crossword.
pretty easy.
This first one's so freaking easy. A holiday in December.
They're giving you a
Christmas,
gimme,
right?
getting you off excited.
This is
give you a
too
win off
easy.
the bat. I mean, there's 4-year-olds in there.
But you can't say for all ages then.
Yeah.
Why? We're doing it. It would be not for all ages if it was too hard for us.
You're right. You're right.
One down. Be careful. Don't slip on the ice.
Wow.
3 down. Santa rides in a
sleigh.
sleigh.
This
on
comes from the smokestack.
5 across. What the boy wants to hear is the
Ringing
ring.
bells.
All right. 4 down. This comes from the smokestack.
Smoke.
No. All right.
This
That
is so
sounds getting a little
easy.
lazy.
Got it.
The first gift of Christmas is a.
Bell.
A bell.
All right.
Right. This
Yeah.
is all from the movie.
6 down. They help Santa make toys.
Elves.
Elves.
Now let me ask this. Robbie, did you notice anything about the elves in the movie?
Yeah. Did you?
All men.
Oh, we
all
did
men.
notice that. It was
All
all
men.
men. It was
All
all men.
men.
Except it was the dancing sequence. Then some lady elves. showed
Were
up.
there lady elves?
Yeah. Some lady
Oh,
elves.
that
showed
kind of disappoints me because I kind of like that they had a same-sex
I
slow
know.
dance at the very end.
It was just 'cause-
They're all white guys.
Oh yes, it was all white. But did you notice anything about their accent?
They were from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
well about
They
their,
kind of had a little bit of a.
but not just that. Did you notice anything about the first time we hear the elves talk?
The first words.
One of the first words we hear is them saying that something is mashugana.
They go, oh, what's this mashugana over here? Which is a cliche Jewish word.
Oh.
A very, like I would say,
I
it's
did
a Yiddish
not-
word.
Yeah, I did not.
And that's an interesting.
I thought it was
And
just
it
like a New
raises
York
so many
accent.
questions. It raises so many questions.
It does. It's like, is Santa hiring all Jewish elves to work for him? Well, why would they make that
Strange
choice?
Strange choice.
Why would they make that choice?
I don't know. Strange choice.
Also, when the one elf, when he has to hand back the gift, the poor boy has to hand back the gift to the elf to put back in the bag. He goes like this. He goes, "Give me the gift. You could trust me."
Can I say this though? Admittedly, this crossword is really easy.
Yes.
But if the New York Times crossword was like this, I'd probably do it.
You think that crosswords should be easier?
I love when they're easy.
I don't think they should be easier. It's more a statement on me that like I felt good filling out a child's crossword because it's like I'm normally not good at these.
You completed a task.
I love when I do the New York
Polar
Mini.
Express word search.
Oh, this one was.
A word
This
search.
also had some words not on the search.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like worm. There's a few words that I was like, oh, I'm finding words that
Christmas
are
worm.
not on this.
What was that? Soccer? I see. No, it's missing. There's secret words. There's hidden messages in this Polar Express word search.
Look, I found cop.
Did you?
Of course.
Of course, this was
The
the Staten
January-
Island.
The
Staten
January
Island.
man.
Yeah, the January man showing up early. Jesus.
Yeah. Mom, Dad, it's the January man. I don't feel like doing the word.
No, don't do the word search.
A maze.
Polar Express maze, which is very interesting because it looks like it's a boy sad staring at a gift. It looks like a depressed child.
Oh, yeah,
just-
the graphic is strange. I guess this is supposed to be the sad boy.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, this is one of my favorite things that they have
They
next.
did make a nice letter
They
to
have
Santa.
a letter to Santa that they give out that the children could write a letter to Santa Claus, right? And what's interesting is, what do you think Santa Claus's address is?
On this?
Yes.
Is it the Alamo Draft House?
No.
Okay.
It's
Care of.
456 Christmas Lane, which is
Okay.
fine. I love that part. North Pole, comma, USA.
North Pole. North Pole, USA.
North Pole, USA.
That's Staten,
So
baby.
is this the American Santa Claus? That
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. North Pole, USA.
North Pole, USA, which is hilarious to me because the North Pole is that's
We own it. Manifest destiny.
I also want to see.
what the actual North Pole.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip code.
The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zip code is actually Schenectady County in New York. We got him.
We got him. We know where Santa is. We're coming for you on Christmas Lane.
Take the Metro North.
They made the laziest choices for this. 456 Christmas Lane.
456 Christmas Lane, North Pole, USA.
1,
North
2,
Pole,
3, 4,
USA
5.
sounds like a great Beach Boys Christmas
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
North Pole, USA.
Bow, 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 bow.
When
What?
we were driving along on Christmas Lane with our letter to Santa.
And the next is just a
The Polar Express, just
A free write.
Just
a
line
free
paper.
write. It's loosely
Yeah.
paper about that you can write down thoughts on the Polar Express.
This is maybe my favorite part, is the idea that there might be a kid who'd be like, write their
A book
thoughts about the
report.
Polar Express. I wish there were just some. I would love it if there was just panels to make your own comic.
Oh, that would be cool.
And
I said this to you in the theater. The problem I have with the Polar Express is they just forced conflict the entire movie. There was no reason for there to be that much conflict.
So in the book, if I remember correctly,
Yes.
So they get on the train, they go to the North Pole,
Yeah.
without incident.
Okay.
They arrive at the North Pole and find out Santa's there. There's the thing about the bell, and then the bell and belief, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So almost every conflict, or like the characters, there aren't really characters in. There's Santa. There's
What's the train conductor? Is he a big part? Or
yeah, but he just lets them on the train.
Yeah. He was kind
My
of-
memory of it is that like, but the train conductor in the movie, it basically is like giving everybody like things to do, and let's create some more characters, because it is, you got to flesh out. It's a whole movie. It would be very boring if they just made a feature-length adaptation of what happens in the book.
Yes,
It
but
would
it
be-
might be peaceful.
It would be very peaceful. It'd be like a screensaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be like 15 minutes of a gentle train ride, and then a sequence of like looking around, and then.
Some snow falling.
But I've never seen a movie, even a kid's movie, where they're just looking for new things to sort of be wrong. And at one point, you made that observation, and literally 10 seconds later, there was like, help! I'm falling! And it's like, grab my hand! It's like, I got you! No! And then, like, so many times in the movie, they were like, what are we going to do? We're lost! How are we going to find our way back? The train stopped!
I know.
Oh, no! There's no tracks! No,
It
there
was
are!
oh no, which made no sense because they showed up to the house and there were no tracks in front of his house.
Yes.
They don't need tracks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, there's no need for tracks.
It's a magical train that had a lot of practical problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coal operated.
Coal-operated. But I think the assumption is, to justify why these things are happening,
Yes.
is that the kids are never actually in any danger. This is all part of an experience. Like,
Which I kind of allude
to
to.
better them?
yeah.
They kind of allude to that. I feel like
That
it's always 5
conflict.
minutes to Christmas. It's always going to work out.
Yeah, because I really like that detail that when he's running late the whole time and then they arrive at the North Pole and it's 5 minutes to Christmas.
Yeah.
And then it remains 5 minutes to Christmas until they need it to be Christmas.
I guess that's teaching kids with anxiety, like,
It
Oh,
will
I don't know
work
if
out.
this has been, I don't know if they've done the work to figure out, like there are some things where they work very hard to figure out what effect will this have on kids. I can imagine a kid with anxiety watching this movie and having way more anxiety.
Yeah, I was also thinking that a little bit.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, oh, here are the toys that don't get played with anymore. And then they're like, you are the, it's just like getting yelled at by a dead puppet.
Yeah, that was a scary sequence. These Christmas movies always have like a scary aspect to it. It's like if you don't love things enough, it hurts you.
Well, and this ties into the thing about Christmas and ghosts and death and all that. That like,
Yeah.
how many Christmas stories involve ghosts? How many Christmases?
Most of them.
Yeah,
Even
the
this one
most
they
famous
shoehorned
ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. Anytime they deal with there are the movies that deal with the idea of Santa as an immortal being,
Yeah.
and then there are also stories that don't do that, where it's like, oh, you take over the role of Santa, or like people will invent a new mythology. There is something about like Santa as an immortal figure that hasn't existed for that long, really.
Yeah.
That's always interesting to me, the idea that like Santa hasn't been around forever.
So Santa's in his good phase right now. You ever read the book Tuck Everlasting? How they live
yeah,
so
I love
many
that
different
book.
lives,
Yeah.
right? And they change. Santa's young and innocent right now.
Yeah.
He's gonna turn and become jaded. Santa Claus might, if he's truly immortal and lives forever,
Right.
we're catching him at his good moment where he's like, I'm gonna give back. Life is beautiful.
Well, I would say that once global climate catastrophes wipe out the human race, Santa and his workshop will cease to have a purpose.
Oh wow! And
Good.
he's gonna
I
get
like,
dark.
I think it'd be interesting as
we
people.
won't be here to see it.
No, but it's interesting to think about.
It's interesting to think about in a world where the mythology involves the North Pole and this magical place.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see a story about a post-apocalyptic, like what would Santa do if
Sure.
Santa, are we gonna make toys for next Christmas? What's the point? There's no boys and girls to give toys to anymore. Don't make any. Even for each other? Fine, do what you want.
I don't care.
I don't care. Like,
Is Santa just
It
a
would be a
broken man because he
broken
can't
man.
give?
well, like, imagine it's sort of like Santa being, in a way, abandoned,
Yeah.
stranded on a planet where he no longer has a purpose. I imagine that Santa would. I think you'd have a long dark period, and then I think Santa Claus. This idea belongs to me. Nobody else can own it.
Beautiful.
Don't try to make it.
No, because this is actually a really good idea, to be honest.
Santa Claus would probably at some point start building a spacecraft, because it's like we have to go somewhere else, and there's got to be other life in the universe,
Oh.
and we can, and so Santa would basically be a great TV series.
Go from
A
planet to
post-apocalyptic.
planet.
Santa Claus is basically like a Starship Enterprise full of all the elves and the toy making equipment.
Yeah.
And we're going to see if there are other civilizations in the universe that have need for what he has to offer. And there will be a lot of places where it's just not needed.
They don't need anything.
There might even be-
They're
yeah.
evil. They're all on the naughty list.
There,
Or there's a Santa Claus, like his cousin's already there, like
Right.
an alternate reality Santa.
he might learn. There's already Santas on
Santas
all the
other
other
Yeah,
places.
yeah, there's already Santas.
There's a
on
planet that's all Santas.
Yes, and someone takes the gifts from the Santas. There's one child that takes all the gifts. And it's his responsibility to open all day.
There is a world. There's a point where he would get to another place, and accidentally, like in Star Trek, they have the Prime Directive where they don't want to. He would introduce Christmas, and it would actually like ruin what was otherwise a peaceful, functioning society.
Oh my
But suddenly,
God.
the introduction of giving gifts would, in a civilization that didn't have the idea of gifts, like I got you this. Oh, for me, I got you this. And then somewhere they'd be like, what he got me is not as good as what I got him.
And war breaks
Yeah,
out
yeah,
on the whole
yeah.
planet.
Yeah.
You divided our country, our whole world.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. As they're all like,
And he
yeah.
just spreads. He tries to spread Christmas joy, failing from planet to planet.
sometimes succeeding, but
Interesting.
not always.
Into the multiverse. Santa
Yeah,
Claus.
that is interesting. Yeah, because Santa, if he is everlasting, he has a tough road ahead of him. These
Yeah.
are the good years.
Yeah.
I have a question. What movie do you think has the best Santa Claus?
Miracle on 34th Street.
You think so?
When
That's
he does,
the Santa
when
Claus?
he does the sign language, I'm sure the sign language is bad. It's like when someone does a bad. People always say when people do ASL, it's horrible in movies, right?
Okay.
But when he meets the deaf child, the deaf young girl, and then the mother comes up, just so you know, she's deaf, but she wanted to see you.
Yeah.
And then he starts doing sign language to the deaf girl, and it's just like this magical moment of like how kind Santa Claus is to like children and people. Like he speaks all languages, and that doesn't matter. And then they sing Jingle Bells in ASL. I think that's beautiful.
Maybe this is just a recent, fresh in my mind pick. David Harbour is an excellent Santa Claus in the movie Violent Night. I think he's really great in
The
it.
total opposite of my choice.
Yeah.
The complete opposite.
But I think his portrayal of Santa in the sincere moments is really, really striking. But I'm gonna pick, if I have to pick a personal favorite, and it's kind of a weird one, but there's an episode of the Ed Sullivan Show
Okay.
that he basically, when Jim Henson was starting out,
Uh-huh.
he was like, he impressed Ed Sullivan with his puppet work, and Ed Sullivan was like, I'll give you a whole hour, do what you want.
Yeah.
And so there's this really weird hour of television called The Great Santa Claus Switch. And it's what's his name? From The Honeymooners, not Jackie Gleason.
Oh, I wouldn't know the other guy's name, so.
No, I'm just playing. I know the name.
You got it, Connor.
I don't like the way my brain forgets things when I know
Oh.
it's who played Ed Norton.
It hurts so bad when your brain forgets.
He's in so many things.
And it's never rewarding to look it up when your brain forgets something.
And everyone out there who knows this is like, I know it. But it's just when your brain won't give you the name.
I just want to take some pressure off you. You are so knowledgeable about names, Connor.
But I know this name. It's not a name it's a name I've known my whole life.
I know. I'm just taking some pressure off you because
And the name that's wrong that's in my head that keeps popping up and getting in the way is Ed Asner. That's not who it is.
No, that's not. We won't look it up, and it's okay.
We can look it up.
No, I have
You
to
have
prove
it?
He
Okay.
has
I
to
have
prove it.
to my own
like
brain.
it's like when you have to sneeze. You want the sneeze to come out. You want the name to spew out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to find it, and it never feels good to look it up. It never feels good. I get that.
Ed Asner, Carl Reiner, names that are not this person's name.
Mm-hmm. Mel Brooks. This is hard. I feel.
I hate it
your
because
face is getting red.
because when your brain won't give you a thing that you realize like, oh, it's just the connections breaking in your brain. It's only going to get worse as you get older.
So maybe staying young is a good thing.
Maybe.
Maybe don't grow up, Connor.
He's in the Star Wars holiday special.
Okay. These are references that are very you.
Yeah. Art Carney.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Wow.
Wait, how do you feel right now?
I'm glad that it's there, but it's like finding a washed out bridge. I mean, like that's where the bridge was. But it's like I don't know if we can rebuild or not.
It didn't feel good.
It feels terrible.
It's like you left your leftovers out overnight. You found them, but you can't.
Have you had that with the name of someone that you know?
Yeah.
You ever had that where you're
Yes.
like, I know this person's name, and it just won't come.
It's really
to me
sad.
today.
Yeah.
It's a really terrifying feeling, especially like I have this in my family, and
Sure.
where it's just like that's the thing that's eventually going to get me is that my brain won't.
You
work.
think so?
Yeah. Unless my diet can be bad enough that'll get me first.
It's a race.
Anyway, Art Carney plays both Santa Claus.
What a sick thought you are. You're a sick man. I'm hoping my
Maybe
diet
if I
gets...
can eat enough bad things.
Take another sip of that Manhattan Special.
You're not gonna get me, brain. I'm gonna eat the dumbest thing possible.
But Art Carney.
Art Carney plays Santa Claus, and he also plays a guy named Cosmo, who lives below Santa's workshop, and he's a crook.
Oh.
And he looks like Santa Claus, and he gets the idea that he can kidnap Santa Claus, dress up like Santa, and then in one night he can use Santa's sleigh to burgle every house in the world.
Okay.
And
not a bad idea for a crook.
No.
As far as crook movie, I would love to see that, but like the maybe like a Boston version with Ben Affleck.
it's so funny. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Great Santa Claus switch. Some of the rhythms are so far ahead of their time comedically.
Really?
Like there's a sequence where the cutting of the jokes feels more like the way you would edit a comedy in like 2011.
Yeah.
Than how you would do it in like the 60s.
A 30 Rock almost.
Yeah, where it's like there's a point where he keeps trying to fool the elves, and the elves keep realizing who he is, and then he locks up that elf. And the cut starts getting quicker, where it's to the point where like the elf will be like, hey, and then before it's almost like the TikTok rhythm of comedy, where it's like cutting a little bit, like cutting the joke off a little makes it funnier.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah, which is, it's interesting because comedy, so much of what makes something funny is the surprise of it, and so much of that is the rhythm of the comedy.
Yeah.
And at the current point, like I'm fascinated to hear to see what the next incarnation will be, because the TikTok rhythm of comedy is a little bit more abrupt even than the Arrested Development, 30 Rock rhythm of comedy, where you start to cut the joke off. Like the old vaudeville would be like, you'd have the joke and then it would be like, dun 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 dun, or you'd have the flourish and the afterglow and all of this. And then at a certain point, it's like, we don't need that. So we just have the hard joke and then get out. So like you get to like Mel Brooks movies or Airplane or things like that, where it's like fast. And then you get like, well, we need to be more surprising. At a certain point, it starts to be like faster than you can even process it. So the joke moves faster than you, and part of what you laugh at is that you missed it.
Yeah.
Or that it did, And I'm like, what is the next? There will be a point where there are jokes that are cut at a rhythm that we are not able, and it will hit me before it hits you. Like you'll notice me being like, I don't get it. And then you'll be like, oh, the wave is coming.
You worry about that. I'm not worried. I guarantee you in our lifetime, you will always get a joke faster than me.
There will be a point.
No, I guarantee you.
You're young and healthy. There'll be a point
It's
where...
a race, baby. It's a race.
There will be a point.
I didn't even know the man's name, Ed Asner.
Art Carney.
There we go. Did I do that to make him feel better or not?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
100%.
I remember when the movie Memento came out. And that's a movie that kind of goes at a faster clip that you can fully process. I remember watching that movie and thinking, I might not be capable of processing whatever the 2025 version of Memento is.
Well, interestingly enough, I saw Memento in theaters, and I was about, what year did it come out?
2001-ish?
So I was 11.
Yeah.
And I couldn't process any of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So there we go. We both couldn't process it. I was too young.
But you were a child.
Yeah. In the pandemic, I watched a movie every single day for like over 40 days. Just like every night, me and my roommate, we didn't leave my apartment. We watched a movie. And after I watched Memento, I was like, I need to take a break from watching movies. I'm good.
Still a little
I
bit.
just
It's
don't
still a little
care.
bit
I didn't
ahead.
care enough about I guess the way the world was going on. I was like, I don't really think I cared enough about those characters to go through this whole like weird
Journey.
delivery and this journey. I was like, I didn't care enough to like invest in the way that they delivered it.
I always think about the fact that when you watch like certain movies in certain decades, that there was a point where if a detective needed to leave his house and go someplace else, you'd see him leave the house, get into his car, then you'd fade to him driving on the highway.
Yeah.
And you'd see him get out of the new building, go inside, and you'd see him like ask, where in the building are they? And you needed that at that phase of storytelling. And then you get to a point where you have like Law and Order was just like, how about if we just cut the scenes whenever we want them and put an address on the screen. It's like, bonk, bonk, here they are.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that it's like we just saved a lot of scenes of showing cops going from A to B because we just have scene A and then just go B. And then they're like, well, we understood they must have walked or driven or took some sort of transportation to get to this place.
We understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're making everything shorter and shorter. Do you think it'll go one day, like, people will combat that and just make things longer?
Maybe.
I feel like with TikTok, it's already, some people will say nothing on TikTok and it'll be a joke.
Right.
If you know, you know. And then just like, how am I supposed to, like, I just don't know.
Yeah,
It's
like
just like, all right, I guess I'm out on this.
One of the,
this is.
one of the advances on TikTok is that thing where it'll be really short and there'll be text on screen that you have to process the meaning of while also processing the image while also processing that the song and sound is contradictory to those things.
Which is specifically designed so that you watch it a bunch of times because the app rewards people watching what you were doing a bunch of times.
Right, but a lot of younger people are watching those and getting it on the first go.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so? You think, wow.
You think some people
I think
are
there's some people
getting
who are
it?
just like, yeah, and then they get on the next
But
thing.
here's the thing, they have no
Interesting.
social skills. Would you rather be able to process a video joke faster than chit-chat?
Do they have no social skills?
He just
They got no social skills.
Wait, but,
just
but
speaks.
that just feels like something, like, have you been trying to socialize with them? They're like, they're bad at it. Or is that just like...
This is a boomer. I'm a boomer. I just turned into a boomer.
Yeah, you
Everyone's still
it can
the
talk.
Here's the thing. These kids don't have it hard. When I was a kid, I walked a mile in the snow to get to school.
I'm really working hard to try to avoid, and it's going to happen to me inevitably.
100%.
That trying to avoid that thing where just because you had an experience of the way things are, that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah.
That it's sort of like you can hold on to a charming sentimentality. You can hold a fondness for something while, like, I had to leave it. I was in this Looney Tunes Facebook group.
Okay. I love it.
You had to leave it. I love being introduced to this idea with already its problems.
I love this.
Well, I had to leave it just because I was like, there's no reason for me to, I clicked it and then I was like, I'll be in this. And then something came up and I was like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And it was someone who was complaining. They're like, I feel bad for kids these days. They don't have cartoons like great ones like the old days. And I'm like, this isn't a complaint that's coming from any children. There's no one who's like, we don't have good cartoons like in the old days.
No.
And it's like, people my age have a fondness for like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And they look at kids now who are just on their phones. I'm like, if you go back in time and give 10-year-old me a phone.
Yeah.
Where I could, like, well, specifically this guy was like, it's not like the golden age of Looney Tunes. And I'm like, well, the golden age of Looney Tunes, like your dad was probably fighting in World War II.
Uh-huh.
And if you wanted to see a Bugs Bunny cartoon, maybe if you went to the right movie at some point during the year, you might get to see a Bugs Bunny cartoon
After watching the news about the war and people dying.
Right. But like if you love those cartoons, when they were being made, they were coming out, every few months or something. You might get one.
Yeah.
Like if you loved Roadrunner cartoons,
Uh-huh.
the time to see them was not living through the decade they were being made because you would maybe luck out and see one during the year.
Yeah.
If you were growing up when I was a kid, they were on TV all the time, and there's something fun about that.
Yes.
But if you really liked them, the golden age is now. I could go on my phone and find all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, how is this this guy's complaining. I'm like, if you told me when I was a kid, wouldn't you rather have a device you carry around?
Sure.
You could literally
All
watch
of them. Yeah.
any Looney Tune cartoon, even the ones that haven't been released. There's people who are like, this one's offensive, and they just load it up to Daily Motion or something. You can see even the ones that Warner Brothers
those
is
out?
ashamed of. I've seen them because they're all really weird historical artifacts of like horrible American history.
Oh, yeah.
So like from a historical point, I don't watch them and think like, these jokes are really good.
Sure. I've seen some vaults.
Somewhat.
Some Disney vaults.
Yeah, like they're fascinating
Yes.
because you're seeing like this was what was considered funny by a room full of white men in 1940.
And it's mostly
guess
just
what?
propaganda.
Yeah,
And
guess what? Doesn't hold up.
No,
but
no.
it's but if you're even from a like film historian point of view, if you're like, oh, the good old days was when CBS would show 90 minutes of Looney Tunes once a week.
Uh-huh.
Like, how is that better to now when I could look up any of them? For the thing that this group is supposedly so jazzed about.
Yeah.
Sure.
That guy was really, but it was a lot of posts were like, oh, remember how it used to be? And it's just like, well, if you really like those things, we're actually living in a nice period where you can access them really easily if you want to revisit old things.
My dad's big on like YouTube because he looks up shit he loves.
Yeah.
And just watches old like videos of drummers that he loves, like at a concert or like.
It's both overwhelming in that it's too much.
Yes.
But it's also like, don't pretend like we live in the worst era for old things.
No,
No.
Like somebody posted a thing saying like, we live in a golden age of movies and books and music. And someone responded, movies, TV, books, yes. Music, definitely not. And I'm like, if you like any kind of music.
Yeah.
You can find it more easily now, both not just in the streaming world, which has its own issues as far as like what's right and wrong and artists getting paid and stuff like that, but even just in terms of like finding a record, finding an old 78
100%.
or vintage stores
or just like I like this kind of music. How can I find a radio station? Well, on internet radio, you can probably find any kind of obscure thing you like. So like that feeling that people want to naturally complain that it's not as good as it used to be. Or like people are,
Sure.
But it's really more about like expressing how sad you are that time is passing.
Yeah.
And that change is hard.
And
it's not really about how like things suck now.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you probably would have felt bad if you were born 50 years earlier and we were reaching this point in your timeline. You'd be like mad at something else. It's not necessarily the now of it.
Yeah, you do a good job. I know that for a fact you like listen to the top 20, so top 100. Because I remember you would come into like Stepfathers and be like, oh, I know this. Because we would have to pick a song and you would be like, oh, I listened to this song on you like a Billie Eilish song.
It's hard to keep up, but I try to listen to some new stuff because otherwise you do get into it's very easy to get in the mode of like, oh, the music in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you're like, if you like that kind of music, I can actually find you that kind of music now that's still exciting and new. And there's also like, even if you don't like every current trend in music, I bet if you're open to it, you can find something that you like that someone new is making.
Sure.
I was going to say, do you think, I have an opinion on what you were just talking about too,
Yeah.
but do you think there's
opposite
something
opinion.
of like people like the chase? And like it felt more rewarding to have like people do love the chase. We talk about all the hype, everything is the hype, the chase. So it's like, oh, it maybe felt more rewarding to have to put some work into then, oh, I loved like the release of finding this thing, or it was hard, or I had to go to the store and look through the thing and I would find it. I guess that probably plays a play a little bit.
Yeah, like, but some of that is like, I love going and browsing in a store because you might discover something that you wouldn't necessarily think of just by searching for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't necessarily, the algorithm wouldn't necessarily know to push it at you. But if that's what's great about going to like an antique store is like, you can be surprised by something. And there's less opportunity to do that. But there's also there's lamenting the loss of certain things, and then there's also just that like, well, if you like that, you can still find it. But then there also will be things like, I used to really like running upstairs two at a time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I won't necessarily do that now.
Yeah.
Because I might like pop out my leg or something, and then be like, oh, I'll just go as like going to, because I met you, I took the Staten Island ferry to meet you today.
Yeah.
And I almost missed it. Like I literally got onto the ferry as they were about to close it.
Amazing.
And I was having train problems, and I had planned for a greater frequency of Sunday train to get there.
Uh-huh.
And so when I got out of the train, it was like, it said it was an 8-minute walk and I had 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And I took one slightly wrong turn that made it so that I had to walk so fast that it was actively painful to walk.
Oh no.
You know, like when you know I can't run.
Yeah.
And it's hurting. Every step is hurting. If I could stop, I would stop.
Yeah.
But just knowing if I get on that train, I'll get there on time. I won't have to wait a half hour for the next ferry. And there is something in moments like that where you're like, well, I'm not as young as I used to be. I can't move the way I used to be. Yeah. And there's no upside to that. It's not like
it's not gonna get better.
It's not gonna get better. And there isn't like, well, my legs are so wise now.
Yeah.
Like,
but they move with such knowledge and intelligence. My body.
Like, there are a few aspects that we can convince ourselves are, you're like, oh, I'm glad I'm not a teenager again.
Yeah.
But nobody likes the decay of the physical body.
No. The vision
We don't-
going.
we-
What helps with that?
we
What,
don't-
your smell is better? No.
To see things like a teenager I would not like.
Yeah. The crystal clear nature of a TV screen.
We don't like it in ourselves. We don't like it in others. It's just
North Pole USA hates old people.
yeah,
Hates old people.
absolutely.
Yeah, we don't like to see them.
Yeah, they have 2 jobs for old people, and they're taken.
What are they?
Santa and Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus is a job?
Oh, you think homemaker's not a job? Also, I'm pretty sure she does a lot of work up there.
Does she?
Definitely has
Yes.
to.
They
There's no
never
way
speak
that she
to it in the
doesn't.
lore.
They
There's
never
no
speak
way
to
she
her.
doesn't.
Sometimes they do.
When?
Some people give her a
She's
better
always
storyline.
busy, and I guarantee there's times when Santa is not pulling his weight. You know what I mean?
And she's there to
And
pick
she's
up
one
the
who's
slack.
like, Santa, a lot of kids are asking for video games, and he's like, oh, we don't know how to make those. And she's like, Nick, come on.
She calls him Nick, huh?
Nick,
Nick.
my Nicky, oh my Nick, my Nicholas,
My little Nicholas.
my little Nicky.
Oh my God. This is beautiful. I love this so much. I think it is sad a little bit. There is passing. I always feel sad around Christmas, and I usually cry on New Year's, but I think I'm gonna bump that up to Christmas.
Yeah, you can start crying around Halloween.
Yeah, I can start crying. You're introducing things earlier and earlier into
Well,
the year.
here's the thing. What I like about Christmas is that the sadness is intermingled with joy.
Yes.
It makes
Constantly.
the sadness. It makes you able to accept the sadness.
And it's really like sadness is. I looked at that and I was imagining that it stood for sadness.
The
S
by
for sadness.
stocking.
Yeah.
S for sadness.
Santa Claus.
No.
Santa's brother Sadna.
Yeah, oh my God.
I think there's something about, like having a good cry
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily make you sadder.
No,
No,
a lot of
it
times
actually
the
makes you
opposite.
happier.
Yeah. And I think there's something about like I like listening to the Vince Guaraldi music because it's a perfect mix of sad and happy, melancholy and fun. It's all that. And also I have a tip for the January music transition.
Okay.
Is that because I just got this great, they just came out with, they found a bunch of Vince Guaraldi session tapes.
Amazing.
So I've been buying and rebuying Charlie Brown Christmas in various editions for decades.
Amazing.
And every now and then there'd be an alternate track or something, but mostly just the same album over and over in different formats. And just like, it just makes me happy to have like, oh, this one's colored like a candy cane or whatever.
Yeah.
And this year they came out with a set that's like 5 discs and it has all these alternate takes where you really hear him. At first, when I looked at the track listing, it looks insane because it looks like one of those things where it's like track 3, O Tenenbaum, track 4, O Tenenbaum, take 2, track 5, O Tenenbaum. Just like it's going through all of the same songs. When you listen to it,
Yeah.
it's really different from track to track. Like they're trying new things.
Oh, that is really cool.
When you get to January, there's an album called Jazz Impressions of a Boy Named Charlie Brown. And it's the same style and mood, but it's non-holiday Charlie Brown music. So it's songs that they evoke the same mood, but they're not Christmas songs.
Oh, that's
Oh,
actually
that's interesting.
beautiful.
And I usually listen to that album a lot in January and even February because it sort of feels like, oh, I get the same feeling from this.
Yeah.
Without feeling like I'm listening to the Charlie Brown Christmas album past the point where I should be listening to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I really do recommend the if you look for the super deluxe Charlie Brown Christmas, it's on Spotify and it's great. It's
to
really
just listen.
it's just 4 hours of it's like the album in a new mix that sounds to my ears the same.
Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Sure.
I don't have that kind of
Musical
ear where it's like still sounds good.
Yeah.
Then the previous original stereo mix just sounds like the record again. But then you get into these sessions and it really is interesting hearing them. Especially there's one point where you hear the kids who sing the Christmas Time Is Here song. At one point you hear them, they like mess up a take and you hear all these kids laugh.
Oh.
And it's the first time that I've really thought about the fact that it was just a room full of real children who were singing this.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
it's really
yeah.
like kind of amazing because I've always just thought of it as like those animated kids singing it.
Yeah.
And I know there's kids doing the voices,
Of course.
but hearing them laugh because they came in too early and then they're like, start over again. And it adds an extra layer of humanity. Plus the realization that so many of those kids are now no longer with us.
Oh yeah, that's wild. The sad and the
Plus-
joy, baby.
Jesus Christ! I will say this has been beautiful because it is about like coping with the holidays is something that people will have to be dealing with today as they're listening to this, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you did a great job of making people feel seen and also preparing them for the next month.
Yeah. We should just finish this packet real quick.
Yeah, let's finish it.
Yeah,
Polar
yeah.
Express party recipes. They have a recipe for polar chocolate nougat caramel squares.
Nah, I don't like fucking nougat.
I will say the name of that dessert feels like work.
Yeah.
Polar chocolate nougat caramel squares.
Yeah, that's too
Yes.
much. What's your favorite Christmas treat? Holiday treat? What we talking with? What's your go-to?
I like eggnog.
You like it? Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
I like eggnog.
Are you drinking it already?
I have had some
You've had some cold or hot?
cold.
I never had it.
You never
Me
had
neither.
No, I don't drink milk.
it? Okay. Well,
It's
you
a-
can get non-dairy eggnog now.
I don't drink almond milk. I don't think I'll like it.
What do you drink? I'll make a
Water.
version of it. Okay, I'll make a water nog for you.
I like water. I like Diet Coke. I like coffee and Bud Lights.
I'll just put an egg in a Diet Coke.
Actually, that sounds tremendous. I love eggs so much, and I love Diet
You know, the
Coke.
funny thing is,
Yeah.
before I knew how egg creams were made,
Uh-huh.
I made an egg cream for myself, and I thought it was just like seltzer and chocolate syrup and an egg.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Oh, really? A raw egg?
Raw egg.
How old are you?
I was a teenager.
Okay, that's too old. That's too old.
Well, egg cream is not a thing I grew up with. I think I saw a reference on TV to egg cream. I was like,
Yeah.
this is a New York City drink.
Yeah.
I was like,
The
I'll
big
try.
city. Oh,
I'll
Wall
try.
Street. Egg.
And I'm just like
creams.
a country bumpkin from Missouri. So I'm
Yeah.
like, well, golly, I'll make myself one of those egg creams. First, you put an egg in it. Then you put some cream.
But
Stir it up with a big old spoon.
there's no like food because if you're drinking the eggnog, what do you want food?
Food.
Yeah,
Um,
sweet or not sweet?
I'm trying to think because I feel like I'm forgetting some major. What are the Christmas foods?
You like ham? You like goose?
I never eat a goose. Never have had a goose.
I've never eaten a goose either. Have you ever had a goose?
No.
Do you think people actually eat goose?
Yeah, Christmas
sure of
goose.
it.
Christmas goose, right?
Yeah.
But no reasonable person nowadays is making a Christmas goose.
Who's to say what's reasonable?
Yeah.
And in North Pole, USA, we have certain rules.
Hot chocolate bar cocoa. Hot chocolate bar cocoa. What you need is 2 egg yolks, 2 ounces of milk chocolate candy bar, and 1 cup of milk. It doesn't seem like very much chocolate.
No, it does not.
It's mostly egg and milk.
doesn't sound too good.
Um,
Beat the egg yolk in a bowl, put it aside, crush
2
the candy
ounces
bar.
of candy bar is not a lot, right?
Tiny.
That's like a little sprinkling.
This is mostly eggs. You're just eating eggs.
It's raw eggs, right?
I would imagine.
Egg yolks.
Yeah.
No whites.
Oh, but then you top it with a dollop of whipped cream or marshmallow fluff. I don't like
Oh.
that they say what you need, and then at the end have this.
You need more.
M. Night,
Yeah.
M. Night Shyamalan twist of. You also need whipped cream or marshmallow fluff.
Oh, and then you get home and you finally do it, and it goes, and by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Then we have
And then a color.
the coloring thing, the Polar Express, and it says "Color the boy."
I don't like his expression.
I don't like it either,
Yeah, I agree.
and I don't think he makes that expression in the movie.
No.
Not once. He's never this blown away.
Do you like the way the break in his pocket is made to look?
No, I also
I guess
don't
they
like
have to
that. It
make it
looks like he
intentional.
peed his pants and he's standing in a puddle of piss.
Oh yeah.
That's what it truly looks like.
But we do, and you have been provided the yellow crayon and the green crayon to make it look like a puddle of
Puddle
piss.
A
Piss.
puddle of piss. Yeah, there's what are
More
you gonna
coloring.
do? Blue?
More coloring. Color the boy as the conductor welcomes him aboard, and it also says reproducible.
Interesting.
Both of them say reproducible. I don't know if that means
I guess you could.
you could have more children.
I was gonna say you could make copies of it and not be sued.
I mean,
don't
on the
know.
side it says all WB and incorporated,
Yeah.
yada yada.
And
I was
then-
never a colorer. I would never get like creative with it.
I really like that they included this. This feels
sheet
like
music.
holiday carols for your Polar Express party, and they've included Deck the Halls, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, Jingle Bells, and Up on the Housetop.
And can I tell you, as someone that plays music,
Yeah.
these aren't like, this isn't like a beginner. It's an intermediate version
Yeah, that's-
of sheet music.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's not like someone's gonna be like, oh, I've taken a couple piano lessons. Anyone that
No,
plays
you need at least
piano
a year under your belt.
has sheet music like this.
Yeah. One of the things
that makes it's not accessible enough
Yeah,
to make
this isn't-
sense. And
it's-
if you can read this, you probably already
You
have
probably
it.
have this
Yeah,
like
that's
a
a good
Christmas
point.
book.
Yeah.
I always think it's that We Wish You a Merry Christmas is a funny song because of how much people really lean into the second word. They go, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh,
we
yeah.
wish you a Merry Christmas.
We
wish you a Merry
Christmas.
It's always just
and
like a-
Happy New Year.
Just like a belt
Good
across. Like a,
tidings. Even the tidings.
tidings we bring to you and your
friend. To
And
tidings for
for
Christmas and
You
a
and-
Happy New
It's
Year.
you and your kin, but I like you said to you and your friend.
Well, that's us. We were with our friends, not
I
our
don't
kid.
have a kid. I don't have
Oh,
kids.
kid. I thought it was kid.
Oh, no. Kid.
I like that each of them has a different story. Glad tidings we bring to you and your kid.
Yeah.
You and your friend, I like that one because I like imagining that it's from the point of view of someone who's like, I don't know if they're dating.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Let's just be general. Let's.
that
You and your
tidings we
friend.
bring to you and your friend who can come along if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
You bring your friend.
Bring your friend along.
Oh.
Sebastian, who's your friend?
My parents are funny. That my parents will be like, "Well, Sebastian, if you want to invite a friend to the holidays, you're allowed."
Glad
That's-
tidings we bring to you and your friend.
And if they wanted me to bring like my friend Matt or Robbie, they'll go, "Bro, invite Robbie." But if it's romantic, they go, "A friend."
You could bring a friend. Tidings we bring to you and your friend.
It's funny on Christmas.
Uh-huh.
There'll be a certain point every year at Christmas where my mom will request every kid to play the piano and sing.
Oh, that's
nice.
really fun.
So, and we'll all play the piano and sing. So no matter what, I'm gonna have to play the piano and sing.
That's
I didn't know
nice.
you played the piano.
Yeah, I really like it. It's the only thing I don't care about how good I am,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it great.
Do you know how to play any of the Charlie Brown Christmas songs?
No, I
Are
wish
they
I did.
hard?
Yeah, they're hard. But there was a time in my life I could have.
I bet you could play the fake round versions of some of those, where you could play chords that would evoke it.
I could
Yeah.
play
Chords-
any fake around.
Chords that would evoke it.
Yes, but that's not.
That's how my sister plays piano now. I'll come home. We don't play. We haven't played in a long time, which I'm still like, it's good that
Sure.
she does that, but she'll just have like 7 chords on a piece of paper.
Oh, it's good.
It's
It
like
gets
B
the
flat,
point
this, and then
across.
she'll just do that, and she'll
Yeah.
just be like, yeah.
Most songs that's good enough.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not trying to be creative, but
Yeah.
like I'll play like sometimes I'll play Ray Charles and I want to hit the notes. You know,
I
what
had
mean?
it-
or
yeah.
Billy Joel solos.
I had another idea recently.
Okay.
I heard a song that was like one of those rock and roll 50s style Christmas, because they do sing a song like that one in the Polar Express. After Santa leaves, they sing "Rocking on Top of the World for Christmas," "Rocking on Top of the World," and I always think it's a very funny type of Christmas music that sounds like 1950s rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like any of those songs that are kind of like, well, it's Christmas Day and we're here to stay.
Yeah.
Rock and roll Christmas is the way to way. Those songs always kind of sound the same to me.
Yeah.
Like rock and roll Rudolph, rock on round the clock.
Yeah. Do, 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 do. It's
I had-
the same chord progression.
I had an idea because I had this song that I made up in my head called Santa Claus Saturday Night.
Okay.
Sounds great already.
And it's literally just about how fun it is when Christmas is on a Saturday and Santa Claus. It's
Oh.
like rock around Christmas, Santa Claus Saturday night.
Do-do.
And then I was like, it'd be
Bust
really
out the
funny
beer,
to
bring
do
out the nuts. Santa Claus here. He's having some fun. It's Saturday.
Saturday night, Santa Claus Saturday night. We all know it's not Friday night. Santa Claus Saturday night.
First comes Monday, then comes Tuesday. No Santa inside yet on Wednesday.
Well, my idea for the album, I do think I'm going to make this at some point. I just need to get.
You're gonna make this.
I'm gonna make this album. I'm announcing it now. I'm gonna make
Okay.
this
You
album.
have full album.
From the episode, you have a January character TV series. You have a movie about Santa Claus traveling intergalactically, and now an album.
I think you swapped it. I think it's a
Yeah,
January movie.
January Man is just an event that I want to catch on where people start saying,
The TV
"Well, it's
series.
New Year's Eve," and you know what that means. Tomorrow you might get a visit from the January Man.
Leave out the Warrens for January, man.
No.
You're right. Yeah.
So January Man
Of course.
is just a character I want to introduce.
Just like the Easter Bunny.
I want to rebrand. I want to rebrand him so that the January Man. At one point, he did help catch a serial killer.
That's good.
I assume the movie ends with him catching a serial
I mean,
killer.
we don't
sure.
know.
I haven't seen it.
It could be like this
You haven't
recipe.
seen it. Okay.
But the January Man, whatever he may or may not have done.
Maybe they did a sequel.
They did not.
February Fella.
February Fella. Well, the January Man, I want people to just him to catch on as a character in American and global folklore,
Okay.
Yeah.
where it's just like it's January. Guess who I am? You have a mustache.
Yeah,
on. Like
yeah.
it's the January Man. I mean, you kind of have like what's that mustache? Movember.
Movember, yeah.
But the January Man has a mustache, and that's just part of his thing. No, I want to make an album that is like 50s style rock and roll songs. They'll all roughly sound the same. So I just need to get a competent band that can do those kind of one for the money. Those kind of like
Yeah.
You could do that.
yeah. And I want it'll be a 7-song album. Maybe there'll be a few more if I can think of it. But I want to have a Christmas like a song for each day of the week. Like what if Christmas is on a Monday?
Oh.
Like
So no matter what, you get in play.
Tuesday
yeah.
Christmas, Tuesday is coming soon.
Yeah.
Yesterday is Monday, Tuesday is over the moon.
It's a hump day Christmas over here on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. Hump day Christmas, Wednesday is coming round. And the advantage of this album is that Christmas is on a different day every year. So different years will sort of, people who play Christmas songs, holiday playlists, it'll get different emphasis because like, you don't want to play Santa Claus Saturday Night on a year when Christmas is on a Tuesday.
My big
All
question
right, I have
for
a question.
you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Great. I'm ready
All
to
right.
field
All right.
all inquiries about this yet
All right.
to be recorded or written album.
Could you maybe make it almost like a 12 days of Christmas thing where it starts your album can be played for the week after Christmas or the week leading up to Christmas where it just starts either or ends on Christmas? Do you want that or you just want one song per year?
I'm not sure there's just a lot of math involved in your question.
So either it's like you could do the whole week. It's a week-long celebration of
Yes.
your album that either it ends on Christmas or so the 12 days of Christmas we were talking starts on Christmas and then there's the
Right.
12 days. Could you do that with your album? Tuesday Christmas, then you go Wednesday, then and it's like almost like a 7 days of Christmas album.
The problem with that is it sounds like in
Okay.
order to really do it right, because I want an album that has a song for each of the days of the week being
Yeah.
Christmas.
Okay.
Problem with doing that for the days starting with Christmas 12 days is it starts to then I feel like you need to do multiple versions of those 12 days.
Yep.
So you have to
Okay, all
Like,
right. There's
my-
49 versions now.
yeah, that
Yeah.
you basically
Okay.
needed 12 days for
You wanted to be
time 7.
specific
yes.
enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
My question to you.
Great.
Because you said there's 7 songs, maybe 8 or 9. What would the 8th or 9th song be if we're doing the days of the week? What would
Yeah, what are the bonus
bonuses?
tracks? Yeah.
Would it be Monday morning Christmas? Is the bonus track?
one of the songs could be about how this year we had a song called Leap Year Christmas.
Leap year Christmas.
It's a song about how this year we had to wait one day longer to get to Christmas.
I'm on board with
because,
Leap Year Christmas.
because back in February we had an extra day. So it's like, I've been waiting for Santa Claus 24 hours longer.
Oh, all right.
And interesting, because I like that because it's a conversation piece. It's like, what is this song? Oh, it's Leap Year Christmas
It's
song.
not about Christmas being on a leap year. It's about how in a leap year you have to wait longer for Christmas to come
to happen.
around. Because also, I don't know whether Santa Claus takes leap year off or whether Santa Claus uses leap year to be like, this year we have some wiggle room. Leap year. Extra day to make toys for all the girls and
extra-
boys.
I bet you kids get more gifts on a leap year.
Maybe.
There might be a couple kids on the naughty list that sneak onto that nice list.
Or on a leap year, there might be... It's weird that leap year is the year that you have the day because it feels like the other years you leap over that day, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
That's just my feeling.
It's a bad phrase. Whoever came
Very
up with
bad.
that's an idiot.
But it could be an extra day in which to scrutinize the behavior, and an extra day in which you could slip up, do something naughty.
Yeah, it's a dangerous day for leap years are hard for kids.
One more day, you got to be nice.
That's hard.
Yeah. So I want to make that album. I want to make the TV series about Santa Trek, where it's
post-apocalyptic traveling to other planets.
The human race dies out, but Santa and his elves
Jesus.
and his reindeer, they live because they're not. None of them are human in the normal understand. They're not mortal in that way. And he has nothing left to do because Christmas as a holiday died out because the planet became unlivable.
This is,
the first act of that is definitely like, oh God, the first act of that movie is probably the realization that it's happening, where there's like a major climate disaster on Christmas Eve. And it's just like,
and he can't deliver the toys that year.
Well, there's a feeling of like, it's happened before where it's like, oh, some of these gifts don't need to be delivered now. All right, well, we got a job to do. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, still Christmas. But something sad where it's like a harbinger of things to come, and then we see like we zoom into the TV screen and we see like a climate scientist talking about at this rate, the Earth will be and then we cut to the year 3000.
We do the Law and Order thing.
Dunk dunk. And it's like the last delivery of the last Christmas present for the last child to be alive.
Wow.
And
now that's a scene.
Yeah, that's a scene.
Now that's a scene.
Where it's like, Santa! And it's like, oh, been a light year.
Yeah. What does that kid even wish for?
Yeah. Well, the wish for the wishing for like more people to be around. It's just like, I can't do that. So here's a sled.
Yeah, here's a sled. It's melting outside.
It has its own atmosphere around it. So
there we go. A gas mask was the last gift Santa would give.
But once he builds up spaceship, I think there's probably a period where he doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm. Like Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, where he's not doing anything, and the elves are like not sure what to do, and then there's a point where he just starts building something.
Where would he be living if he's not in the North Pole? Because that must have been gone.
I think no. Oh,
North Pole is protected by
magic.
He lives in Santa's workshop's fine, but it's also like what it's really like up there is just like flaming
water
ocean.
park.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of projects were initiated in
this. That's amazing.
This is good. You got a lot of great. You did a lot of work today.
You did.
Can I say another thing?
Yes.
Santa has a big bag in the Polar Express.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the modern conceit that the bag is magical.
Me too.
I like that too.
Me too, because it's not logical to make it that big because it's still not big enough.
It's not big enough. It'll never be big enough.
Yeah.
It'll never be big enough, so make it magic.
And so in Violent Night, the bag is it's like a portal. It's like you reach it. He doesn't even know fully what he's about to get.
There was another movie where it was a portal. I forget what it was. But yeah, I love the idea of like world jumping through that bag.
And I kind of like the idea of Santa, out of a sense of nostalgia, having it be like, it's a full bag, but it's like, it's not.
Sure.
It's full of more than you can even tell.
Yeah.
I like him having to do some lifting.
Me too. Also, we talked about this on the pod. Like Santa's, his muscles they don't matter. He could lift an infinite amount of weight, Santa.
Right.
Yeah, he's magic.
He's magic. Like there's magic we don't even comprehend about Santa.
I like that Santa. So Santa's body type is a choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
There's the Rudolph model of it, the Puppetoon TV special, where Santa's thin most of the year, and he has to like Raging Bull style bulk up for Christmas.
It's bulking season, babe.
Yeah, where it's like,
oh yeah, he tries on the pants and they fall down, and right? Yeah. I like that.
He's one of my favorite Santas.
My friends used to always quote the line in that where he says, "Oh my, it looks like we're going to have to cancel Christmas."
And he's Chris, and there's like, right? He's Chris, not Nick.
Yeah,
he's Kris Kringle.
And the idea that it's like, you don't get to cancel the holiday just because you can't deliver the toys. It will still happen.
Sure.
Families got each other gifts.
Oh, yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Not
every
all
gift
on
is
you.
a
Santa gift.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this is amazing. At the end of the things we've been doing, we've been saying if we would recommend
Polar Express?
Yeah, would you recommend?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people won't like it because it's a weird movie. I would say very fun movie to go see in a theater.
Yeah,
Very
it was fun.
It was infinitely better in a theater.
I don't know that it's as fun seeing that movie at home if you don't already have affection for it.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, it won't be to a lot of people's liking. Very strange film. A lot of fun. I would recommend unreservedly to anyone watching the song Hot Chocolate, which you can see on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everyone should actually watch that. That's a mandatory viewing.
It's because it's genuinely so delightfully bonkers.
If I was to
Yes.
remake the Polar Express, there would be no conflict, and it would just be Still Train, and every 20 minutes Hot Chocolate would be sung.
I like that.
I like the ride. I like that it's a ride.
I also like. I started to like that they were making trouble for themselves. I started to grow fond of the rhythm of like, wait, we're stuck now.
The time period became shorter and
Yeah,
shorter.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
peace.
yeah.
Yeah, we're like, we have to get out of here.
Yeah. Finally, Santa. Oh!
Wait, oh no, my ticket.
Robbie, would you recommend?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I would definitely recommend the Alamo Drafthouse in Staten Island.
Yeah, me too.
And it was fun. It was a fun they put effort into it. And I think that's a big thing of the holidays is the more effort you put in, the more you get out. And they put effort in, which we appreciated.
I also think, and this will be the last thing that I'll say.
Okay.
Okay.
I have one more thing
I might
wanna
say some more things after
Yeah, I
that.
have some more things I want to say too.
I've heard a lot of people in the return to the theater going experience talk about like, well, movies are great for big spectacle or they're great for like horror movie stuff. But I've heard people say confidently, and for a while I was sort of accepting it. It's like, oh, okay, that comedy is something that you don't need to see in a theater.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't necessarily
And
agree.
I really disagree.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I'm like, I think it's a real. I think people have accepted that as the conventional wisdom that, well, comedy you can just watch at home. I'm like, comedies are better with an audience.
100%. A
1,000%.
packed audience.
And I think even the greatest comedies, if you watch them by yourself or even just with like one or two people on a screen at home where you can be distracted,
Yeah.
it's not the same. And
I saw Superbad in theater and Tropic Thunder, and they're like some of my favorite comedies growing up because of that.
yeah, I liked when I think about seeing Borat in the theater versus watching Borat 2 on Amazon Prime,
Yeah.
I would have given anything to see Borat 2 in a theater because it's really funny.
Borat 1 was hilarious in the theater, screaming people.
And I think like the jokes, because there are some funny jokes here and there in Polar Express,
Yeah, we were laughing.
and there were sometimes where we were just laughing because it was crazy.
Yeah.
But it felt so good to laugh in a movie theater.
Yeah.
And I hope that is a thing that doesn't get lost.
Yeah.
Because I think movie comedies, even before the pandemic, were starting to become less of a cultural event.
Yeah.
And comedy is starting to feel like a lonely thing that people do. And like, I love watching TikTok videos and laughing,
Sure.
but I think that is a thing that I'll contradict myself slightly in terms of like the good old days, whatever. I could easily see it slipping away as a thing that people don't think of comedy as a thing you see with a bunch of people.
I think what it is now is sharing with friends, like that share button.
Yeah.
Or like gathering around a phone, which isn't as.
But the best part of comedy is hearing the laughter, I would say. Like live comedy is great because the energy of the room and the laughter like makes it
But
funnier,
that's
and it's
hopefully
like
why it will continue to exist.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like seeing Glass Onion in the theater. It's really funny.
Yeah.
I'm
Most-
so pissed that it's not.
Most people are going to see it on Netflix
I know.
a few weeks from now, and some of the people are not going to fully appreciate how funny that movie is because they're going to watch it on their own. And there's some really, I think it's my favorite Rian Johnson film, and I think it's easily his funniest. It's got the best jokes of any Rian Johnson film.
I love that.
And I was so glad that I got a chance to see it during the 1 week that Netflix allowed it to be.
I know. I tried to go see it, and I was shocked that it's only in 1 week.
I will say this: when it comes onto Netflix, I already saw that New Beverly Cinema, the Quentin Tarantino's movie theater in LA, Netflix will be allowing theaters to show it once it's on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I might go see it in a theater.
I'm hoping that in cities, particularly like in New York, that it might pop up because there's an appetite for it. Because it's so funny to see both a mystery where you feel the energy of the people in the audience kind of being surprised or shocked by things, but also when there is a moment that we all think is funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Even the moment of like someone else finds something funny before you realize it's funny, and you hear the laugh, and then you're like, oh, and then you're brought along with it because like you're not everybody is always the first person to get a joke in a movie.
Totally.
And sometimes you might miss the joke, but there's one smart person in the audience who gets it first and is sort of like, hey, everybody, that was funny. And everybody realizes it at the same time.
Ugh. Live comedy will exist.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
Connor, this has been beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Happy
Before
Happy
we
holidays.
leave, not to put you on the spot, you don't have to, but you sang us probably 50 jingles on the way home. Do you have one final parting
jingle?
Oh, it's Christmas time again, and here we are talking at microphones and things. It isn't in the spring. It's really part of winter, and Christmas goes away. I sing my song when Christmas is today.
Yeah! Amazing! Woo!
That song, if you hear that song in the Polar Express, we determined it is a template where you can sing anything. And it kind of makes it da 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 da.
Yeah.
And it does have that happy and sad thing. It's like, it's happy at this part, but then it's really sad.
It is a Christmas thing.
Yeah. Because Christmas is so happy, but then it is so sad. Because Christmas good, but no Christmas is bad.
Oh, God.
Incredible.
Truly amazing. Truly amazing.
And we jingled our bells when that song was playing in the theater. We did this while that very sad, melancholy ballad was playing.
This is beautiful. Where can the people find you on Instagram? On
I was tempted to say, no, don't find me. I'm hiding. Where can the people find you? Instagram, Connor Ratliff. I'm still on Twitter. But who knows? Right?
Who knows?
You
Yeah,
can find me on Hive, which
day.
it's not working anymore.
I don't think it is either.
Mastodon, if you can figure out what it, like.
Amazing.
I'm looking forward to whatever the new thing is.
That's beautiful.
But yeah, at Connor Ratliff, George Lucas Talk Show you can find on YouTube.
Yep.
Our old shows and other things, and Dead Eyes where you find podcasts.
I love that so much.
Amazing.
And thank you all for being with us for this our Christmas adventure, because this is the last day of our Christmas adventure, and it really means the world to us that you were all here and sharing the podcast and loving the clips and sending us messages. And I hope that it brought you some Christmas joy this year.
Yeah, it did for us.
That's beautiful. All right,
Yeah.
Robbie.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And don't forget, in a week or so, the January
Man is coming.
might pay you a visit.
All right, Robbie, hit the fucking music.